Why should communicators care about the evolution of crypto wallets and whether they should be banned? We have answers coming up in this short midweek episode of For Immediate Release. Another fine podcast from the FIR Podcast Network.
This is For Immediate Release, the podcast for communicators.
Hello everyone, welcome to For Immediate Release. This is episode 328. I'm Neville Hobson.
And I'm Shel Holtz. And if you're like me, every time you sit down, you feel that bulge in your back pocket. That's your wallet. Except for those of you, of course, who carry your wallet in your purse. But the day may well be coming when you won't carry anything like that anymore. It'll all be in your phone. Right now, that is something that is confined, at least in the minds of a lot of people, to cryptocurrency. Well, there's news out of Washington, D.C. United States Senator Elizabeth Warren is looking to ban crypto wallets. That could be problematic since these wallets are turning into more than just wallets. Now, crypto wallets were developed initially as a way for people to store, manage, and transact with cryptocurrencies. You know, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Obviously, because it's digital, it doesn't hold physical cash. What it actually holds is your public and private keys, which are at the heart of transacting on a blockchain network. Over the last few years, though, the reasons for having a crypto wallet has evolved. They're where you store your NFTs, for example. Not just your collectible artwork, but your POAPs. That's proof of attendance. These are NFTs of a certain type. It would also be the tickets to events that you have purchased as NFTs for those venues that are offering that. Items you've purchased for use in a virtual world, including the fashions your avatar will wear. On her blog, venture capitalist Gabby Goldberg has a post called Stop Calling It a Wallet. She writes, put simply, wallets are becoming a place where people want to spend time, and there are more use cases today than ever before. Existing wallets will not, and candidly cannot, adapt to this new preference and behavior. She quotes a crypto investor named Jay Drain, who says that crypto wallets now look like inventories, and in the future they'll more clearly represent our digital identities by making them composable across the web. Now, crypto wallets are getting so popular, there's a browser called Brave that's based on having your wallet integrated right into your browser. Microsoft is building its own crypto wallet into the Edge browser. MetaMask, one of the most popular wallets, has over 21 million monthly active users, up from 10 million in August of 2021 and 545,000 a year earlier. Now, a lot of what I've read about how crypto wallets could be used in the future goes right over my head. I'm not proud, I'll admit to that. There's talk of using wallets for credential verification for governance of decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, and linking social profiles to public keys, standardizing a way for users to connect their Ethereum wallets to website applications, enabling NFT authenticity confirmation, and allowing users to aggregate their reputation, ownership, and data without broadcasting details they don't want to share. As Jay Drain wrote on his Substack, as entirely new Web3 applications are built across novel and existing blockchains, infrastructure for the wallet will remain critical to building applications that facilitate identity management. So why is all this complex tech gobbledygook worth talking about? Well, despite all the doom and gloom we're reading about crypto in the press, we need to remember that's all focused on crypto as an investment vehicle. That's just one of hundreds of use cases for crypto tokens. As more and more of the assets people own are digital, wallets will increasingly be the place they're held and where they're shown. They'll become integral to your identity and your engagement online, so companies need to understand them, and so do communicators who work for companies that will make their digital assets available. As for Senator Warren, Now, I have to confess that I like a lot of what she does, but I think a ban on crypto wallets as a solution for protecting Americans from scams is just misguided. Yeah, there is a tremendous need for regulation and enforcement around crypto, but hobbling the utility of wallets isn't the answer. I'll share a link to a Cointelegraph article that goes into excruciating detail on all of this, but bottom line, if you work online, wallets are going to be part of your future, and now's a good time to get up to speed on them. And by the way, if you don't have one, now's the time to get one. And one last note, I'll share a link in the show notes to a pretty good Wired piece on how to choose the right crypto wallet.
Interesting picture, actually. One thing that struck me listening to what you were saying is that the picture here in the UK certainly is totally different to that you've painted in the US. So digital wallets have been a big deal here for quite some time, and it's certainly nothing to do with cryptocurrencies. This is far more day to day. It's using your mobile device with an app, that's your digital wallet, to make payments, to buy your groceries, to just literally pay for anything at the point of sale in a store. Contactless payments are big here. It's rare. In my case, certainly, it's rare that I do anything other than contactless, literally anywhere. And your wallet is, of course, also used for online purchases on your computer where you don't use your phone. You're on a website and you've got an extension in your browser. Typically, it'll be Google that has encrypted details about your credentials. So it's about that kind of payment. And I was reading a piece in Computer Weekly very recent, just a few days ago, that wallets were involved in digital transactions worth nearly £260 billion in the UK last year. Over a third, 35% of all online purchases are completed using digital wallets. So it's already got serious traction. Some other statistics from this report: digital wallets account for almost 50% share of e-commerce spending globally, according to a recent report. It's $18 trillion in consumer spending. I mean, it's huge, the amount that's already there. So if these tools kind of encroach or embrace, if you like, cryptocurrency as an alternative, I could see that definitely being part of the picture. It's also an identity tool more and more here, where your credentials are on your wallet. For instance, I think of apps we have here in the UK for healthcare with the National Health Service. That is a verification method to give you access to prescription information, to making appointments with your doctor. Stuff like that is all via the app. And more general practitioners' surgeries are equipped, are technically able to do this now. So things are moving quite rapidly in those areas. I think, we were talking before we started recording. I have a wallet, which I don't use for more than 2 years, that is fat. You talk about I had actually driving the car. I used to get backache because this thing was pressing into the buttocks, when you sit in your car. So you used to take it out. I haven't used one now for over 2 years. I use a very thin little leather container that has 3 credit cards in it and a driver's license. That's it. It's very slim and it's great. Why do I have those? They're backups. I don't use them unless the contactless doesn't work with a digital wallet. That occasionally happens, or frequently here in this country, you get random requirements by the payment provider to literally check your credentials. So you have to insert the plastic card into the payment machine and then type in your PIN number. And if you don't have your card, of course, well, you're stuck. So I carry only for that reason. So it's a huge convenience, and I look at others who are not there yet with digital wallets. PayPal's the biggest one still in the UK, but Google Pay, what I use on my phone, I've got everything in Google Pay, not just payment cards, but also loyalty cards. There's other information that it also has now. For instance, my COVID-19 vaccination certificates are in there. I can do things like, if I wish to, I pay for transportation, like recently I did on a train, where the train tickets were in the wallet as well. I flew to Spain in September. The airline boarding pass was in the wallet as well. So it is becoming and indeed has in many ways already, a most, how can you say, a method of high utility for these sorts of day-to-day transactions that are highly convenient and are seamless when they work well, and typically they do work well. Cryptocurrency is not in the picture anywhere there, so it's a different picture to what you have in the UK, in the US show.
Yeah, actually, digital wallets, I think, are going to evolve the kind that you're talking about to accommodate cryptocurrency. Some already exist.
They do.
But the crypto wallets that Elizabeth Warren is focused on, that hold the NFTs and the like, they're a unique animal. These, like I say, they hold your public and private keys, and that's how you transact. And they don't hold digital, fiat currencies, the kind, the U.S. dollar, the British pound, for example. But I suspect the day is coming when that'll be fairly seamless. So, I mean, I'm paying for a lot of stuff now just tapping my digital watch on the terminal.
You could do that too. Yeah. I mean, I tend not to do that because it's awkward. I find the phone far more seamless to do.
But in terms of identity, the fact that, if you get pulled over by a cop, he'll be able to tap your phone and see the information that he needs to see. I understand that doesn't happen all that often in the UK. It happens a lot here, where you're required to show that ID when you get pulled over. Well,
if you get pulled over by a cop, yeah, you would. But generally speaking, you don't have to. You don't actually. As a rule, there's no law that requires you to carry identity on you. But you're increasingly being asked to prove your identity these days. So things are moving that way. I suspect, this is an aside comment to complement what we're talking about here, similar to what you have in the US, you do not have identity cards. You have a driver's license, which is your identity card.
That is your identity card, yeah.
That's kind of moving along that way here.
Yeah, and of course here you can get a California state ID if you don't drive that serves as your identity if you don't have a driver's license. So, and I believe most if not all of the states offer that. But
well, that's interesting because here you can only get a driver's license if you've passed a driving test. That's the only way you get.
Right, yeah, and the California state ID does not allow you to drive. It's just what you would show if you need to prove your identity
you
somewhere.
Can't do that here.
Yeah.
No,
but you'll be doing that with your phone and not sharing all the information that's necessarily on some piece of identification that you don't want to share, just what's required. And it's that control over your identity that I think makes, the whole blockchain concept so interesting, is that it puts that kind of control in your hands over your information. So pretty much anything you want to share that's digital would be in your wallet, allowing you to control who sees it over what network or what apps, and it'll all be on your phone. In addition to your desktop, if you want to access it from there. But as I say, with digital assets becoming more and more common, and the crypto wallet now becoming the place where people are storing those. And by the way, I saw one article that showed how one crypto wallet company has redesigned their interface to make it more appealing for people who are spending time in there playing with their NFTs and the like. So it's becoming a consumer product. And I suspect one day you're not going to have to switch between your crypto wallet and your digital wallet where your bank type account information is stored. It'll all be seamless and integrated, and you won't have to understand any of the technology behind it. You'll just have to know that you tap your phone and you're done.
Yeah, that makes total sense, particularly in light of the fact that there's a strong movement to being able to pay for digital collectibles like NFTs, for instance, with a regular credit card. And so the last thing you want to be doing is having some kind of separate thing that's technical, typically, that normal people don't care about this kind of stuff. So you make it as easy as possible, and things are moving that way.
Yeah.
That you can go into, there's already examples that we know of, some of which we've spoken about on this podcast before, where in a store, you can go in and buy a piece of a digital collectible, and you pay for it with your Visa or your Amex card or whatever it might be. And if it's digital, a digital version of your card, which is what I've got on my phone with Google Pay or Google Wallet, as it's now known, of course, you don't even need the piece of plastic. So having an app that on your phone is effectively what we're talking about, that embraces all of these things, is, in my opinion, an inevitability sooner or later.
It is, and you will see people who the wallet itself, the physical thing that you stick in your pocket or your purse, I think will be a thing of the past in fairly short order. And that'll be a 30 for this episode of For Immediate Release.